Welcome back to another episode of the Views from the 66 podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. Before we start, we just want to go ahead and acknowledge what happened recently. You might have seen it on the news, but it was a shooting in Appalachia High School in the Barrow County in Georgia, and you just want to basically just acknowledge what had happened. And
yeah, so it was a 14-year-old boy that shot and killed 2 teachers and 2 students, and there were 9 people who got injured as well. I'm not sure if some of them made it out alive or not. It's a really sad thing because it hits close to us.
I'm tired of hearing about this type of stuff, It's just, another shooting, even just the rumors of it before, Oh, something might happen today, and kids are still going to school, and then it's just thoughts and prayers. It's like, okay, what are we going to do? Let the Lord give us wisdom. We can do stuff. We can prevent stuff.
And yes, are the schools, is the government gonna be able to help schools with certain things that need to be implemented? Like we were talking about, what are those things called? Security
metal detector
stuff. More security guards. We even talked about teachers being able to carry guns in school.
Yeah,
it's a big debate going on now because of what has happened at this high school.
Yeah.
And wasn't it, I don't know if it was Joe Biden or Kamala, didn't they come out talking about how we need stricter gun laws?
Yes.
Is that confirmed?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't hear it, so okay, but you have. But yeah, with that, I disagree so strongly with it because all that's going to do is stop law-abiding citizens from being able. It's going to give a more difficult time for law-abiding citizens to be able to protect themselves. But if you're a criminal, that's not going to stop you because you're already breaking the law.
Right.
So, like you said, Eva, I definitely think that if more teachers were armed, if your school does have a security guard, and were allowed to be armed, allowed to actually carry a weapon, that could be a huge deterrent. Because the fact that this guy said that he was, it was announced before, and he was gonna, shoot up, 5 schools or something like that. He had this plan,
right?
You couldn't have it planned like this if you knew that you might have some obstacles going into these schools because you might get killed in the process.
Right.
It's a deterrent.
And apparently this school was, the guy could just, the kid, the student, whatever, could just leave class and not have consequences for it. So just leave in the middle of class, leave school, and not come back. Like there was no consequences for the school doing something about it because he was also on the FBI watch list, if I'm correct, because he already made threats about it. And I think he was questioned and interviewed about it, but I think nobody really put him as a target in the school. Like, okay, maybe you cannot come back to school anymore. Maybe you have to do online school now and things like that. Yeah.
I'll say this too. When the government tries to take guns and things like that, you're trying to legislate a heart condition, basically. Ultimately, as Christians, we understand that out of the heart comes evils and murders, adulteries, just wickedness. This is a heart issue, so we need to. Ultimately, the gospel needs to be proclaimed. People need to have a heart transplant so that they no longer even desire these things. This is how true reform happens. But I understand that we live, in a secular society, and that's why I do advocate everybody being armed.
Yeah.
Because it makes you think twice.
Yeah.
But,
if they have the choice to do that,
Exactly. Allow the choice to,
One thing I did hear, I was looking up about the story, was something along the lines of teachers having, I don't know, like a card, something to like set off an alarm, something to alert the authorities. So the authorities were able to come sooner, but people still died.
Yeah.
You need preventative measures that are there already.
Yeah.
You know, and you need consequences in place that would prevent people from even planning this to begin with.
I mean, pat downs. Have you ever seen those movies where it's like based on, you know, really bad schools where you have a bunch of minorities and they have to take off their shoes. They have to get patted down
every day. Yeah.
Every day. That's what it's turning into. And I mean, why aren't we doing that? And what most of all the mass shooters that I've seen were like white males, and it's like, what is the reason why? Is that the reason why they don't? I don't know. It's just like, what is the difference if you know you have drug dealers and gangsters coming into a school and you're gonna do a pat check for that or whatever? Why not do it for schools? Why not do that now, knowing that mass shootings are done by
nationwide,
by regular people, right? Not even a minority, or you know, white males. So yeah, it's a tough subject because there's sadness and there's anger. I'll even say, because I heard that some teachers were crying that don't even live in that county, crying about the situation, and I've heard even more. There have been threats in other counties. Ever since this happened, there has been more threats.
You know, there was another one.
Yes.
In Maryland. It's just...
It's like...
Gotta start taking the threats seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, it's ridiculous. And even Maryland, I was watching the police officers, you know, talking about it, and maybe the principal of the school was speaking to someone else from the school, whoever they were, you know, representing the school. And today is Friday, right? This just happened. And they're talking about, you know, so we'll let you know what's going to happen come maybe tomorrow, Saturday. About, like, just back to regular business.
Like, what?
Let's put them right there, sitting ducks again. No plan. I was like, that's just, you know what?
I can even understand, like, because some parents, they're working, right? So they don't have the privilege to check out their children. Like, they need the school to take care of them. And so maybe if the government knows that, maybe give the parents an incentive for taking off work to be able to pick up their child or something. Because it's like, you're putting your child at risk, right? When you know all this stuff is happening, you put your child back to school, but you can't check them out. So it's like, what can we do? What can the government do to help that?
Well, I think they want to help, but what parents can do, some parents can do. And I would tell people, pray about this and don't even think about the money and everything, because anywho, homeschool. Homeschool, y'all.
Yeah.
Amen.
Homeschool. It is worth, if you have to cut back on some of your luxuries in life, to stay home and homeschool your children.
Yeah.
Because just the likelihood, there's a possibility that they can be shot up that way. How many homeschoolers you hear? People coming in the middle of the day, you know?
Yeah.
No. It's going to be home invasions when you're sleeping, when you're out of town, stuff like that, you know? Yeah.
That's another, you know, beyond the normal thing that I would think of for homeschooling, which is you get to teach your kids proper.
Come on.
But that's an added benefit, you know, which you brought.
Even if there's different resources. I mean, co-op.
Oh yeah.
Like, even if you have to go to work for 8 hours, there are people out there who will teach your kids for you. That's not a public school.
And cheaper than private school.
Yeah.
There are options.
Yeah.
If you're interested, there are options.
I know somebody, my mentee, she does online school with Pearson. Have you heard of that? Pearson, that's what she does at home. And if you have older kids like that, like, they're able to go out, be at home, and take online classes without going to school too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not sending my kids to school. How about y'all?
Yeah. Anyways.
And that's not even the shooter thing. I mean, that's probably lower on the list of things, to be honest.
What?
Of the things that you would, the reason that you would want to keep your kids at home.
But some people, that's number one for them. They don't care about the agenda that's being taught.
That's
stuff
true.
like that.
That's true. Well, people need to wake up to the truth of what the Bible says, the truth of what's going on in the world, the truth of us raising up our children in the way that they should go.
Come on. Not letting the
properly.
government raise them.
Yeah.
So anywho.
Yeah. Anyways, let us
Food
know
for
what y'all
thought.
think. What
Yeah.
did y'all think of it? Which side of the spectrum are you on? And what is your opinion about it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we continue to pray for those families.
Yeah.
Mm.
Pray for the school system. I try to pray. I think about it for the school systems to protect, because I have people, in my family that are in the school systems.
Mhm.
So it's a scary world, but we need to lean on the provision of God, the
Mhm.
provision of God to sustain
Yeah.
them.
Let us know also what you think, if you think that taking more stricter gun laws, if you think that will remedy this situation,
Yeah.
the school shooting type.